Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Everton Show, during which thankfully we've got a cracker of a game to look back on. Tuesday night was just about everything we wanted to be, wasn't it? Goodison Park was a bear pit. The players gave everything they had to first get back into the game and then to take the lead. And then they defended ferociously in the last few minutes to see the Blues over the line. Ian Snodin alongside me. As you were in the commentary box on Tuesday night, it was terrific.
Magnificent. Don't come any better than that. Team performed fantastically well after the first 20 minutes. Didn't show Arsenal any respect whatsoever. And Goodison Park were bouncing at last. As great atmosphere. Arsenal fans got behind their team, but the Goodison faithful were loud and clear.
It was just a great Goodison night. It was a night to remember, and we'll be doing just that in this week's show. Here's a taste of what else you can enjoy in this week's pre-Merseyside derby Everton show.
Definitely, obviously, I'm delighted to finally make my Premier League debut. Something I've dreamt of as a kid, as you'd expect, and obviously to get the result in the end, and like the circumstances to come on in, it makes it even better.
We can be frustrated too, not just a fan. So just a little bit of passion. I think there's nothing wrong with a bit of passion, and that's what I showed.
I'm here and you see little kids struggling, for their life, and just to see the kids happy and smile, it makes the day, It breaks your heart, but I think it's very good for the professionals to come to the hospital.
Helping putting the nets up, dogs coming on the pitch, all sorts going on. It was over 35, so it weren't that competitive either, so it was good.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a big game. It's your rivals and you want to get one over them, and certainly Monday night comes, we'll be ready.
Well, seemingly every time we've spoken to Ronald Koeman after recent games, he's bemoaned the lack of intensity in the performances of his players. But after a bit of a sluggish start on Tuesday night, the lads were bang at it and gave the manager a typically memorable Goodison Park night.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It starts totally different because in the first 20 minutes it was, can I use the word shocking? I don't know, but really nervous. Every ball back instead of playing forwards, and no aggression. Of course, I can understand maybe a little bit lack of confidence, but after the moment when the team went face to face to Arsenal, we came back in the game and we showed an unbelievable spirit. The fans showed that support till the last second what the team needed, but it starts by the players. If we play like the first 20 minutes, you can't expect that the Finns will support the team, and yes, how we played after 20 minutes. Aggression on the midfield, I think James McCarthy played fantastic tonight. He was one of the motors to start, to press and to be aggressive. And there was a good message to the rest of the team.
And Valencia did well, didn't he?
Yeah, did well. Was really worked very hard, make it difficult, was running, was behind the defenders, was defending. And that's what we need to do in a difficult situation in the season. 1 win out of 10. Then it starts with commitment. It starts with working hard, be aggressive, and you get the support and you get a win finally.
That was exactly the Everton you've been looking for, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course. It's the way how we need to play at home, of course. And you know the qualities of Arsenal. They have it difficult if they play against an aggressive football team. If they don't get the time to play and to pass between the lines, they have it difficult, and they are not the physically strongest team in the Premier League. But if you give them the time to play, then they will kill you, and that's what we did in the first 20 minutes. And we changed it on time in the game, and then you see how good we can be in tonight.
Well, Seamus Coleman has now scored in 2 of the last 3 home games, and you can always see by his celebration just how much it means to bag an important goal for Everton. His timely equaliser at the end of the first half against Arsenal gave the Toffees just the right platform to then go on and win the game.
Great to get the goal, always great to score, and then Ashley popped up with a great goal. So, but more importantly than that, the 2 blocks at the end, I think, from Funes and Benzi, that's what it was all about, and that's what got us over the line.
You talked about the players coming together there. You could see that, what it means from your celebration, and then that from Ashley as well.
Yeah, look, we understand the fans' frustration when the performances aren't good enough, but we're frustrated as well, and we're doing all that we can to win games with this club, and it's important that we all stick together, I think, because when you get Goodison rocking like that, it's definitely a 12th man, and definitely makes it hard for any team coming here.
It seemed like sort of partway through the first half, there were a few challenges started flying in, and the crowd lifted, and then the players lifted. You worked off each other.
Yeah, we did. I thought the midfielders were brilliant. Ghana and Jamesy got in about them and made things happen defensively, and I thought Ross was brilliant as well. So it was a good team performance, and it's always more satisfying when it's a team performance rather than maybe cruising the game 3-4-0. They're the kind of games that you look forward to.
Sounds a bit of a cliche. Could that be a turning point?
I hope so. Look, it's important that the next game we play, obviously it's a derby, that we show the same passion, which we will, but not just for that game. We need to do that for every Premier League game. It's a tough league now, and if you switch off or aren't at it from the start, teams will punish you, and that's why it's so competitive. But we need to make sure that at all times, whatever the result, we can go home and we can look at ourselves in the mirror and say we put in a shift, and as I said, we probably haven't done that enough this season.
There was never any thought, was there, of settling for a point and accepting that was good enough? We were pushing for that winner right to the end.
Yeah, we were. We wanted to win, but sometimes you can feel the atmosphere pushing us along too, and that definitely gave us a feel for that extra goal, and it's always important that we didn't sit back. And great header from Ashley.
Can you remember much of your celebration, or did you just sort of lose it at that point?
Yeah, look, you hear the moans and groans of the fans, and at the end of the day, as I said, this club means everything to us as well, and we're trying to do right. So we can be frustrated too, not just a fan. So just a little bit of passion. I think there's nothing wrong with a bit of passion, and that's what I showed.
Snods, I often give Seamus a little bit of stick about his goal celebrations. He loses the plot a little bit, but the fans love to see that, and so do we.
So do we, you're right. He loves it when he scores. Any player does, but Seamus in particular, he just does go off his head. But no, it's great for him to be in them positions, in the six-yard box as a right fullback, heading a Leighton Baines crossing. Don't come any better than that, but no, it meant so much to him, meant so much to his teammates as well. And when Ashley Williams eventually scored the winning goal, you could see the reaction, not only Ashley, but all the players as well. They needed that result, they needed a performance like that, and our crowd certainly lifted them to that kind of performance.
James McCarthy, your man of the match?
He certainly was. I thought he was back to his best.
It was typical James McCarthy, and there were talking points aplenty from that terrific win on Tuesday night, and amongst them was a senior Everton debut for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The young striker replaced Enner Valencia late on and thoroughly enjoyed the experience on a night he'll never forget.
Definitely, obviously I'm delighted to finally make my Premier League debut. Something I've dreamt of as a kid, as you'd expect, and obviously to get the result in the end, and like the circumstances to come on in, it makes it even better.
You got a nice reception from the crowd when you warmed up on the side of the pitch, but what was going through your mind when you got the curly finger off the gaffer? Come on, you're going on.
I've had a great reception from the fans twice now. Obviously the 2 times I've been on the bench, so got to thank them for that. But obviously it was Dunk that gave me the shout initially, and obviously you get butterflies a little bit, but I was just sent out to warm up and then got the shout, and then I was on.
Took a while for the ball to go out to play, didn't it?
Yeah, I stood there for a few minutes, which didn't help really, but once I finally got on, it was obviously good.
What were the instructions to you, Dom?
Just work hard. Obviously, we was trying to get the 3 points, and thankfully we did. But yeah, just run hard and get the ball back, defend, attack. The works really.
And you nearly got on the end of one, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I didn't quite get the contact on it, but obviously Ash got the next one. And
nerves were jangling at the end though, weren't they? When it was all hands on deck.
Yeah, I had a little swing and a miss at the end, obviously. Got a little bit nervous after that, but thankfully the boys were on the line to get it away, and just shows you the character in the team that there is, and to dig in and get the 3 points.
Nights like that, atmospheres like that, against opponents like that, they're the reasons why you came to Everton Football Club, aren't they?
Of course, it's clear to see. Obviously, I've made my Premier League debut perhaps a little bit quicker than I thought I would. So I made the right decision, clearly.
And it's back to work on Monday and try and force your way in for the Merseyside derby as well.
That's it, all back to work tomorrow with the 23s training. So
Dominic wasn't involved a great deal, Snods, but he did okay when he came on.
Yeah, he did. He came on for Enner, who worked tirelessly. I thought Enner played really, really well. So he hadn't played much game time. But no, the lad come on, and you can understand his nervousness as well. 19-year-old playing in a game like that, a crowd like that. And I'm sure he thoroughly enjoyed it, but I bet he was nervous, stood there waiting for as he said, the ball to go out of play.
And then it was shattered when he came on.
It was absolutely shattered.
Right, that's it for part 1 of this week's programme, but don't go away because we've got a packed second segment for you. We've got FA Youth Cup action, under 23 goals, and the first team squad's annual visit to Alder Hey Children's Hospital. Welcome back to part 2. Now, not since 1998 have Everton been victorious in the FA Youth Cup. The Blues did reach the final, of course, in 2002, but that was mainly thanks to the schoolboy Wayne Rooney. It's 18 years since we brought the cup back to Goodison Park. The 2017 campaign got off to a winning start, though, recently, when Tranmere Rovers were brushed aside at Goodison Park.
Everton under-18s are safely through to the FA Youth Cup 4th round after beating neighbours Tranmere Rovers 2-0 at Goodison Park. The young Blues were the better team throughout, but had to wait until first half stoppage time to take the lead. Fraser Hornby was tripped by goalkeeper Patrick Wharton, and he picked himself up off the turf to hammer home the penalty. The victory was effectively wrapped up 3 minutes after the restart, when Tranmere failed to deal with an in-swinging free kick from the left, and defender Morgan Feeney pounced to stab the ball over the line inside the 6-yard box. The victory continues Everton under-18's splendid form. It's now 12 matches unbeaten, much to the delight of coach Kevin Sheedy.
I thought we deserved to win, but full play to Andy Parkinson and his team. You know, they run us all the way. We knew when the draw was made that it was going to be a tough, a potential banana skin for us. It was their cup final. Went to watch them against Scunthorpe in the last round, and they've got some good players and played well. So we knew they'd come here and give it 100%, which they did. And we got the goals at the right time. We scored a penalty just before half time, and then 10 minutes in the second half got the second, so it took the pressure off us a little bit, but fair play to them. They kept going, they hit the post, they hit the bar. We did the same late on, so there was chances at both ends, but I just felt that we were the better team overall, but just pleased to get through, because as I say, that could have been a potential banana skin.
We were knocking on the door before Fraser put his penalty away in first half stoppage time.
Yeah, our run's been great. I think that's 12 now unbeaten. We won 8 and drew 4 of them. So we're a form team. And in my experience, when you have your first round games at Goodison, the players, no matter what you say to them, they do get nervous. And I thought the first half that a lot of our players showed signs of nervousness. Second half, as I say, we got the second goal, and I was expecting us, to be honest, to go on and win comfortably. And through, our final pass wasn't what it should be on the night, and we had a couple of real excellent goal scoring opportunities to make it 3 and 4, which we didn't take. And as I say, full credit to Tranmere, they kept battling right to the end, so it made it tough for us.
I love watching the lads in the FA Youth Cup. It's quite a prestigious competition, isn't it?
It's great when you're at that age. That's 16, 17. Now we're at Doncaster Rovers then, and when you get drawn in the FA Youth Cup, you want to know, because you always used to play at the first team ground. So yeah, it's big. And I spoke to Kev after the game about it. The day after, and he said we got through, we played well enough to get through. He said a couple of lads seemed a little bit nervous playing at Goodison Park, which you would expect, but the main thing is they're into the next round, and Preston North End as well, and I'll be going to that one. Obviously my brother's involved with Preston, he'll be at that game, but when it comes to football and Everton Football Club, there's no love between my brother and me. Come on, the Blues.
It's all about Everton, and as Snod said, we now play Preston North End in round 4 of the FA Youth Cup on a date that's yet to be decided. Let's edge slightly up the age scale now and have a look at the under-23s. David Unsworth's boys are in unstoppable form just now, and they were far too good for Leicester City at Southport earlier this week.
David Unsworth hailed Everton under-23's 4-1 win over Leicester City on Monday night as the best performance of the season. Callum Connolly opened the scoring at Southport, heading home John Joe Kenny's cross. But the Foxes hit back through Jeff Schlupp on 23 minutes to make it 1-1 at the break. Everton, however, delivered the knockout blow early in the second half. First, Umar Niasse turned home a Gethin Jones cross, and minutes later Harry Carsley added a third. There was still time for Courtney Duffus to make it 4-1 late on, and Callum Connolly, scorer of the first goal, was delighted with the result.
It was a great win. I thought they were a very good side. But there was a lot of long balls throughout the game, but I thought the back forward and the midfield handled it very well. And on set piece, I thought we done well, to be fair, yeah.
Talk us through your goal then.
It was off corner, ball got cleared out, and then John Joe ran down the right, and I knew he was going to hit the back post, so luckily he got in the right position and scored.
And back to the top of the table.
Yeah, that's where we should be. I thought we were outstanding today, and we have been throughout the season, so hopefully we can continue and get the title at the end.
Can we go on and win the league this year?
Yeah, definitely. We're confident enough. We've got the desire and the commitment to get there, and hopefully with a bit of luck we can get there.
It's a little bit too early, Snods, to talk about winning the league, but we love to see the Toffees right at the top of any table, don't we?
Certainly do, and the lads are playing really well, playing with confidence, playing with a smile on the face as well. But it's going to be a difficult time, a difficult decision for David Unsworth in January as well, because there'll be a few of them lads will be wanted by league teams to go out on loan. And I'm sure Unsy wants to win the league, but it's all about getting the lads experience as well. Joe Royle's there to do that job, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of teams knocking on Joe Royle's door or picking the phone up and saying, can we have so-and-so, can we have so-and-so? And it's going to be a difficult one. Do they stay with Everton or do they go on loan? Ideally, they should go on loan and get the experience.
It'd be great to win the league, though, wouldn't it? It really is a catch-22, isn't it, for Big Joe and Unsy?
It is, definitely. We've got the capabilities, we've got the players to win the league, if they do remain all the players at the club. But, see, it's an hard decision they've got.
But it's not mine, that's for sure. Well, one of the many highlights of the Everton festive calendar is when the players make their annual visit to Alderhay Children's Hospital. Ronald Koeman and his men, of course, were in great spirits on Wednesday morning after a terrific result the night before, and they enjoyed meeting the patients, families and staff at Alderhay.
Yeah, the whole team, the players, technical staff visiting this hospital and visiting the children. It's always a difficult time because about the illness of the children, but to give a little bit support, presence of Everton Football Club, and in a difficult, hard time for the people, for the parents, for the children in the hospital.
Speaking to a few of the parents about hard times, and a few of them not going to go home for Christmas. They'll be stuck here, so it's sad to hear, but it is inspiring how hard they'll work for the children.
Yeah, I can't imagine how difficult it is for them, and you know, I think it's a great place to be. All the staff here are brilliant, and you know, we've done this for a long time now, and I think it's a great thing the club does to come in around this time of the year and try and help in any way we can.
They're made up with the little presents. We get them hats, monkeys, scarves, cushions, blankets, the lot. They actually told us themselves it's made their Christmas, so it's great to hear.
You come here and you see little kids struggling, you know, for their life, and just to see the kids happy and smile, it makes the day, you know. It breaks your heart, but you know, I think it's very good for the professionals to come to the hospital.
It's something obviously that's always fixed in our calendars, and it's an important thing for us to do, you know, to come back and you know, try and give kids a lift where we can. You know, a lot of the people we visit are supporters of the club, and you see some of the kids' faces light up when you see, you know, some of the lads come in, and that's a nice thing to be able to be a part of.
It's a difficult time of the year to come and see all the kids, but I suppose when you've got a little kid as well, it touches home that little bit more. So it's tough, but as Benji says, it definitely does put a smile on their face, and you might struggle to understand how, because they are going through tough times, but you genuinely do see, like when you leave the room, if you have a glance back, just like I did a minute ago, one of the kids was smiling from ear to ear. So it's so important that we come out and do these things, because really it's nothing out of our day, and if it can make families happy for the day or something to look forward to, that's what it's all about.
Respect a lot that people work in this kind of environments and to help really the health of the children. And that's really a tough job, and that's really nice to see. Visiting hospitals, visiting children, giving presents to the children about the club, and that's really nice, because once again it's all about health of the people, and that's the most important.
As Seamus and Bainesy said there, it's a lovely thing to do, and yourself, Diamond and Sharpie, have been hospital hopping as well.
Yeah, we have. Just firstly on Alderhay, it's great for the players. They actually love going in there and putting a smile on the kids' faces and everything. But you can always tell the lads that have got children as well, they seem a little bit more comfortable around the kids than the lads that haven't got children. But yeah, myself, Sharpie and Diamond went to Woodlands Hospice. Then we went to Wiston to see the kids, and then we went to the Royal on an all-day visit. It were the 3 hospitals, and it was fantastic. We brought smiles to a lot of people that day, loads of pictures, autographs, talking about old times as well. So, yeah, it's something you love to go out and do.
And it's also a boost, I always think, for the staff as well, because the staff enjoy it. The staff always get a few photographs as well, and it's important.
The staff get more giddy than actually the nurses especially, and they're great. They're buzzing. They want pictures for the dads and everything of us. But mainly the players. They want to see the players, the kids, and you can see by the reaction they love it.
There's a great picture in the programme in the derby, Gerard Delafeu holding a baby. The baby's crying its eyes out, so I think you're right about the ones who have got kids are more comfortable. Lovely way to reach the halfway line in this week's Everton show. Part 3, of course, is our big interview slot, and this week it's with a man who stamped himself on Everton's derby history with a winning goal. Don't miss Lee Carsley. Welcome to part 3 of this week's Everton show. Now, Lee Carsley scored 13 goals during his 198 Everton appearances, but whenever he bumps into Blue supporters, they only ever want to ask him about one of them. It's just over 12 years since Carsley beat Chris Kirkland from outside the box to secure a memorable derby win for the blue half of Merseyside, and in doing so, he guaranteed himself a lifelong hero status. We sat down with the former Irish international recently, and he brought us up to date with his current coaching role in football.
Finished playing when I was 36, so I've had a good 6 years, different levels, like you say, done 18s, 21s, first team, international, and obviously now at Man City. So yeah, I'm really happy with where I am at the minute in terms of my development. So I'm happy with how things are going.
What was the experience like at Brentford, Lee?
It was good. It's never ideal going in as a caretaker because someone's just been sacked. So, you know, the first interview that I didn't go down too well with the fans when I told them that I wasn't interested in the job and that I didn't want it. But I was trying to be honest. You know, someone had just been sacked, and I didn't want to be that guy at the club that was waiting for someone to mess up so you could jump in. But the players really responded well to myself and Paul Williams, who had with me at the time, and it was a really good 2-3 months. We were really good, successful at what we did.
You had a good long career, mainly at the top in the Premier League. When did you start to think about moving into coaching?
I think it was I was probably 30. We were still at Mountfield at the time. David Moyes spoke with myself, Davey Weir, Stubbsy, Unzi, Steve Watson, Kev Campbell, about doing our coaching badges, about getting involved in the academy and starting to think about, you know, obviously he was a young manager and had started his badges early, so I'd say I was about 30. So even though, you know, I've only been coaching 6 years, since, you know, the preparation to get to this point, it's probably been 12-13 years. So, you know, while I was playing at Everton, I was coaching Solihull College on a Wednesday back in Birmingham and doing their games on a Wednesday night. So that was from 32, 33 onwards. So I've been ready for it.
I remember speaking to you a few years ago when you were playing Sunday League football with your pals.
Yeah.
Do you miss playing?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I miss that. I miss that. It's more the competing than the actual football. It's the, you know, the little bit of physical contact. You don't really get that, you know, sat behind the desk. So I miss that side of it. It was good to get back playing with, you know, with my mates.
A lot of the full circle for you, was that?
Yeah, a lot of the lads that left Birmingham at 16 and went to play for Villa and Blues and all over the country ended up back at their Sunday team. So, you know, the likes of Lee Hendry, Paul Devlin, Darren Byfield. There's a lot of players that have played in the league and had good careers, and it was good to all go back and, you know, just, you know, pick up where we left off.
You must have won the league by a mile, surely.
We won the league, the cups. Yeah, we pretty much cleaned up. Yeah, so it was good, and it was. I mean, it never replaces, you know, playing and but being back in a team environment and just forgetting about stuff on a Sunday morning. You know, helping putting the nets up. Yeah. Dogs coming on the pitch. You know, all sorts going on. You know, it was over 35, so it weren't that competitive either. So it was good. It was really good.
Did you not play against fellas who'd been out the night before on a Saturday night and thought, right, international footballer, I'll have a piece of you?
Yeah, I mean, it used to make me laugh because, you know, for I'd say five or 10 minutes, they'd try their hardest, and you could see that they were trying their best. But because myself and the rest of them are quite fit and still be able to run around. Not as quick, but they struggled, and there's quite a bit of sickness going on the side of the pitch. But it was all good fun. It was good because I was going to parts in Birmingham where I grew up, and you're playing on park pitches, and it was just good to do the full circle.
The 2004-05 season was a bit special, Lee, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was definitely. I'd say that was probably the best season I had. I think I'd have been probably 33 at the time, and I just felt like in terms of my game, the way I felt, my body, I just felt in tip-top condition every game. We had a style of play that probably weren't very good to watch, but it was really effective. We had a real chemistry in the team, myself and Thomas and Tim. We just had the right blend all over. Stubbsy and Davey at the back, Kev one side, Pino the other. We had a real good blend to the team.
And it's always great when you get back together, isn't it, with the likes of Stubbsy or Davey Weir, Killer, Ozzy?
Definitely, it's great seeing Ozzy. Obviously seeing him here, and I see Kev all the time. I've never not stopped seeing him. But no, I think it's always with Everton lads and the club. Walking around here now, it still feels like I'm a player.
Lee, you were at the evening with Ronald Koeman, showed a little repertoire of your goals.
Yeah.
Some decent goals in there, by the way.
Yeah, there was. It was. It didn't help that you put his goals on just after mine.
Kevin's.
Yeah. But no, obviously he was a fantastic player, and I like the way he speaks. He's quite blunt. I don't think there's a lot of flannel with what he says. I think he says what he means, and it's refreshing to hear because there's a lot of managers in the game nowadays that just talk and talk and talk but don't say a lot. And Ronald Koeman seems like he knows what he wants to do. He knows where he wants to take Everton, and I'm looking forward to see it all unfold.
I'm not going to let you gloss over your goals because there were some crackers in there. But when you look back and you see the free kick against Newcastle, the shot from the edge of the box against Arsenal, the one against Liverpool, should you have scored a few more?
Probably, yeah. I think it's.
If that's in your locker.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's. I was always encouraged not to shoot and to stay back, which didn't help. I mean, I think it's. I speak to it a lot now to my players that everyone in the team's got a role, and the quicker you can understand what your role is and how important that is to the team, you'll stop doing things that you can't do. So I knew that my strength wasn't creating, it wasn't scoring, it was stopping, and it was being effective for your team. And I was happy doing that role and trying to be an expert in doing that, in stopping the opposition, in breaking down attacks, in keeping it simple, and being an important part of the team. That was what I was in there for.
Once you score a winning goal against Liverpool, you're an Everton legend for life. You must bump into Evertonians wherever you go.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's at the time you don't realise the magnitude of what we accomplished that day and that season. I think it was, you were there. The momentum from the season just got better and better every week. I'm not sure what run we went on, but we just seemed to keep winning 1-0, 2-1, 1-0, 1-1. So no, it was a great time in our careers.
And that was without Wayne Rooney, wasn't it? We effectively replaced Wayne Rooney with Marcus Bent and went from strength to strength.
Bent, we bought Marcus and we bought Tim Cahill that summer. And if anything, I mean, not that it had anything to do with Wayne, but Wayne going really brought the team together, because I remember we were in Houston at the time and David Moyes says, no one's coming in, this is it. I think there was maybe 16, 17 players at the time. This is going to be the squad. And that galvanised the group. That really, made us concentrate and made us, be really determined to, because we were probably favourites that season as well, with Wayne going to be, maybe not relegated, but be down at the bottom. So we got off to a tough start as well against Arsenal. And then I think that win against Palace kick-started the season, and before you know it, we were on a roll.
I love Lee Carsley, terrific guy, terrific player. One of those players, underrated maybe outside the club, but every team needs one.
Yeah, what it is, fans don't recognise what he does on the pitch. Obviously, he's an hero for Everton, scoring a goal in the derby. But a lot of fans don't realise his actual input on the football field. His teammates do. They know you want a Lee Carsley in there, fighting for every ball, closing down, play it nice and simple when he gets it, and obviously it pops up with the odd goal. Yeah, terrific player, terrific lad as well. Didn't really know him until the last few years since he's come back to Everton and started coming to a few dinners, etc. And seems a really good lad. Kind of player that I liked, or I would have liked in and around the dressing room.
He'll have enjoyed watching Everton beat Arsenal because he liked that sort of intensity, didn't he?
That's what Everton's all about for me. When I came to the club, you got Peter Reid closing down, Paul Bracewell, who unfortunately were injured, Alan Harper that were filling in. They closed down as units, sharply up front. They worked extremely hard to close the opposition defence down, and they just got after teams, and that's what the fans loved. And that's why I think the other night against Arsenal, we were back to us best. You could see 1 or 2 tackles going in. The crowd were off the seats. That's what they wanted, and that's what Everton's all about. And the manager got what he wants as well from his team against Arsenal, and the fans got what they wanted. Great performance, plenty of art, plenty of effort, and a victory.
Even when Romelu Lukaku closed down the fullback and closed down the keeper, he didn't actually win the ball. But he still got the crowd on their feet.
Yeah, because he made that effort to go and close them down, and the defender then has got things on his mind. Oh, big Romelu's coming to close me down, and he makes the defender hurry up. Whereas if you don't close down, he's got all the time to play into midfield for them to turn. So no, it starts from the front. It always does. And I thought Big Rom worked hard, and the midfield, Idrissa Gueye and McCarthy. I thought the two of them were outstanding. Ross Barkley got back to his best as well. There were a lot of good performances out there against Arsenal.
We needed something like that before we play Liverpool, didn't we?
Definitely. Definitely, especially after the disappointment against Watford, the way we played. So we needed that kind of performance, that kind of result, and it gives our fans and the players and the manager the confidence to go and beat Liverpool on Monday night.
Let's hope so. Right, we're taking another short break right now, and when we return, we'll hear from former Australian international goalkeeper Mark Schwarzer. Remember him? And we start to look ahead to the Merseyside derby on Monday night. Welcome back to the fourth and final part of this week's programme. Now, back in 1997, Everton were dumped out of the FA Cup by unfancied Bradford City at Goodison Park. The Bantams that day were managed by none other than Chris Kamara, and he had Chris Waddle in his team and goalkeeper Mark Schwarzer. In fact, Schwarzer played so well that day, it very nearly earned him a move to Everton, as the man himself explained to the Everton Show recently.
Certainly do, yeah. I mean, it was a massive moment in my career. You know, I'd been in Germany for a couple of years and things weren't going to plan, and then I moved to Bradford, and you know, from the moment I moved to Bradford, my whole sort of luck and my career changed direction. And this game, particularly here at Everton, here at Goodison Park against Everton in the FA Cup, was a pivotal moment, and you know, it was a great night in the history of Bradford City Football Club and for myself as well.
Am I right to think that after that there's possibly the chance you could have come here to join Everton?
That's right, I was here actually. I was here and had an interview, spoke to the old chairman at the time, and you know, for certain reason it just didn't eventuate, and in the end I opted to go to Middlesbrough instead.
No regrets about that then?
You know, listen, anything could have happened. You never know. I mean, I think, you know, Everton's a wonderful club, and it would have been, I think, for me, either decision could have been a fantastic decision, and in the end I decided Middlesbrough, and obviously had a great time at Middlesbrough as well. But you kind of have a little bit of regret simply because of the history that's involved around Everton as well, and it would have been an experience that you would never forget.
When was the last time you spoke to an Everton favourite, Goodison favourite, Tim Cahill?
I haven't spoken to him for a little while yet, actually. I mean, since he's been all over the world, obviously. He's been in America, China, and back to Australia, and I've always been here in the UK, so we kind of never really been in the same continent, let alone the same country. So it's been difficult to catch up with any of them. It's probably about 2 years ago I saw him the last time.
When you look back at what he did here at Everton, and then you go back to Australia, do you see the profile of Everton growing because of his years he had here?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's a huge name in Australian football, and obviously a huge name here at Goodison Park and in Everton. You know, he's a phenomenal player, and he's still, you know, playing his trade, still playing at international level for Australia, and still popping up and scoring the odd goal here and there as well. So, you know, he's still a very valuable member to the squad, and I think definitely the popularity of the club in Australia has grown enormously since he's been here.
So there's no disrespect to the boys who kept goal for Everton around about that time, but back in the late 90s, Mark Schwarzer would have been a great signer for us because he went on to have a fantastic career at the top.
He did have a good career. I met him for the first time in the media suite the other night, and big lad, big presence, and that's what you need as a goalkeeper, and he certainly was a good goalkeeper. I think he'd have done well at Everton Football Club, and his old mate there on the picture, Tim Cahill, as well for the national team, so he seems quite close with him. So yeah, I think he'd have done well for Everton Football Club. He's had a great career.
Talking about the Merseyside derby very shortly, you'd like a Tim Cahill in your team ahead of it, wouldn't you?
I tell you what, Tim Cahill for me in a derby game, well, every game, but for a derby game, you get your players like Tim Cahill, Duncan Ferguson's, your Graham Sharps, and you need players like that with your presence, because it puts the fear into the opposition players like that.
And he liked scoring a goal against Liverpool, didn't he?
He certainly did.
Scored a few in his time. Right, let's switch all our focus now to the 227th Merseyside derby. Everton have won 66, Liverpool 89. Everyone has their own favourite Mersey derby memories, and just last week we caught up with some former Everton players to get theirs.
I come to Everton and we're waiting for the start of the derby game. Mick Lyons was the captain and he starts headbutting the door.
I remember playing at Anfield against Liverpool, and when I come down that famous tunnel with "This is Anfield," for some reason I used to punch that sign.
And everybody sort of pounding, kicking boards and kicking the walls. Everybody come, "Ah, let's get out!" And it was the most amazing experience ever. We went out there, everything on the pitch was kicked except the ball.
I remember at the end, I don't know why, but I just stood in front of the cop as it was in those days. So they're going, yeah. You know, it was a great feeling, you know.
It's about winning your first tackle, you know, sort of winning your first header, and that's where I like to see the players now, because the fans at Goodison, they love it. You know, if you win your first tackle, your first header, the fans are behind it, and that's the way the boys have got to play.
I think the 3-2 against Liverpool, obviously with the Clive Thomas decision, you know, still hankles now. I mean, you know, we played really well that day, absolutely fantastic. You know, everyone was up for it, and a certain Clive Thomas, in his wisdom, obviously made a total wreck of the decision.
The greatest for me was, I think, it was the Championship team, and we won 2-0 at Anfield, and Big Joe scored, and of course Alan Whittle scored the second one, you know.
Absolutely fantastic. I mean, I just joined the club, went over there, and you're in the main stand, and it's just absolutely fantastic. It's, you know, you still think about it to this day.
And I was in the street end, and the ball falls to the late great Andy King, and he hits it not particularly well, and it flies in the top corner, right-hand corner of the goal in the park end, and Everton's first win in, God, it must have been 7 years, I think it was. We were delirious on the pitch, in the terraces, and we were going mad. And I remember then after the game, King is getting interviewed on the pitch by a reporter, and the policeman shoves him off the pitch saying, "Get off the pitch." But the next Everton win at a derby was away at Anfield 7 years later, and I was part of that team. So, but to see Andy King and then to play with him and class him as a friend, that goal will always be in my memory.
Jimmy, what do you remember about playing Liverpool?
Well, not very much really, because 6 years I was in Everton's first team, we never played them because they were in the second division.
So they weren't good enough to play Everton?
They weren't good enough to play us.
Snod, you're like me, I know. You can listen to the former players talking about their favourite derby memories all night. What are yours?
Oh, God, I'm not saying there's that many, but they're just great occasions to play in. They don't come any bigger. As a footballer, to play in a Merseyside derby, it's fantastic, the noise, the atmosphere about it. But if there were one game I needed to pick out, and I didn't actually, I went on the pitch when we scored the winning goal. We beat Liverpool at Goodison 2-1. Maurice Johnson scored one, and then I'd just come back from injury. I'd played 75 minutes, and then I came off, and Peter Beardsley got the winner. And he run down the touchline, because we were travel partners. Me and Peter used to take turns in driving each other into the ground. We were room partners, and when he got the winner, he run straight down the touchline, high-fived me, and I tell you what a feeling when that whistle went. It was absolutely brilliant. Love to beat Liverpool.
There's no better feeling, is there? Right, before we go, let's hear from the man who was quite simply back to his excellent best at Goodison Park on Tuesday night. James McCarthy has been frustrated by injuries over the last 12 months or so, but he showed against the Gunners that he's back to his energetic best, and should he retain his place on Monday, he's looking forward to taking on Liverpool and the Goodison Park atmosphere being white hot, just as it was under the lights last Tuesday.
Yeah, it was obviously a very good atmosphere. Once we got going after the goal, we made a few tackles, and Arsenal knew then they were in a game, and I think deservedly so, we eventually got the 3 points.
It seems as though the players responded to the crowd, and the crowd responded to the players last night. Great atmosphere inside the stadium.
Yeah, it was, as you say, the fans responded after a few tackles, and it was a real great atmosphere within the ground, and as I say, deservedly so. We've took the 3 points, and now we look forward to the derby.
In terms of your role in the team, what kind of game was it like to play in there in the middle?
Yeah, it was end to end at times, and it was good to be back, and obviously I felt good last night, so hopefully another good week's training, and we'll see what happens come the derby.
Yeah, you've played 2 games on the trot now, so you know you're starting to establish yourself back in the team again, aren't you, Jim?
Yeah, well, that's it. I've been out of the team for a bit, obviously injuries, and then obviously the team was on a run before I could come back in. So as I say, it's good to be back, and hopefully it continues.
And I guess a similar effort, a similar kind of performance is needed for the big one, isn't it, on Monday night?
Yeah, it's a derby, and our fans will come out in their numbers as always, and obviously within the squad we know it's just a massive game, and we look forward to it.
You've played in a few derbies. Are they the games you look forward to?
Yeah, definitely. It's always a big game. It's your rivals, and you want to get one over them, and certainly Monday night comes, we'll be ready.
And this is the kind of game you want before Christmas, isn't it? You know, going into a bit of busy fixture schedule. It's a brilliant game to have, the last game before Christmas under the floodlights at Goodison.
Yeah, as you say, it's the floodlights at Goodison. Last night, you see the atmosphere and stuff. It's one that you want, and one that we're all really excited about.
We were speaking to Seamus after the game, and he said it was like the old Everton. That was a proper Everton performance. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it was obviously a good team performance, and each and every one of us fought for each other, and it was good to see that, and hopefully now, as I say, we can carry this on into Monday's game.
Merseyside derby, under the floodlights, phone book out the window, all the cliches. Where will this game be won and lost, Nods?
All depends on how we played as. If we sit off Liverpool, who are similar in my eyes to Arsenal, with the movement, the pace, the flair that they've got, if we sit off them like we did Arsenal for the first 20 minutes, we will lose this game. If we get in the faces of Liverpool players, as we did for the rest of the game against Arsenal, we will win the game, because this crowd will lift us at Goodison Park. There's no question about it. The players know that now. The manager knows what he wants, so he'll just say to them, look, go out and give me the same performance you've given me against Arsenal after the first 20 minutes, and we will win the game.
The atmosphere will be white hot, won't it? Blue hot.
I can't wait. I love it.
We can't wait. And that's just about it for this week's Everton Show. All eyes now are on Monday night, Goodison Park, under the floodlights for the Merseyside derby. It's Everton versus Liverpool, and as always, the best way to watch it is to mute the TV and listen to me and Snods doing the commentary on evertonfc.com. It's our last game before Christmas, but it's certainly not the last Everton Show, because we'll be back next week with a festive special. We hope you'll join us, and we hope you have a wonderful, fun-filled Monday night at Goodison.